The salt spray stung their faces. The heroes gripped the sides of the canoe as they scanned the waves. Their quarry, the dreaded Decayed Maw, had submerged. They were hunting a creature of myth and nightmare, a beast of the deep, whispered to devour entire ships.
Perched atop his giant snow owl, Snowball hovered above. He peered into the water, his goggles glinting in the sun. His small frame held an air of tense anticipation.
Below, Thendral, the blind monk, gripped her staff. Her heightened senses were their only guide in this watery domain. Z, the pyromancer, nervously tapped his staff against the boat, keeping his distance from the edge. Brom Stoneforge, the dwarf paladin, stood firm, gripping his warhammer, his face a mask of grim determination. Dizzy, the gnome bard, clutched his lute, his usual cheer replaced by a focused frown. The canoe bobbed on the waves. They were a mismatched band, united by a common purpose. The Decayed Maw had terrorized these waters for too long. Today they would end its reign. The water churned. A dark shape rose from the depths. The Decayed Maw breached the surface, its putrid stench filling the air. Barnacles and seaweed clung to its rotting flesh. Its eyes, two glowing orbs, fixed on the canoe. A collective gasp escaped the heroes. The creature was even more monstrous than they imagined. Its jaws, massive and dripping with slime, opened wide. Rows of jagged teeth gleamed in the sunlight. The air crackled with a malevolent energy.
High above let out a warning cry. Snowball squawked, flapping its wings furiously to gain altitude, but it was too late. The Decayed Maw lunged. Its jaws snapped shut around Gimbal and Snowball. A scream was cut short.
The heroes watched in horror, their hearts pounding in their chests. The beast had taken their friend. Despair threatened to engulf them, but they knew they had to act fast. Gimbal's life depended on it. The Decayed Maw thrashed its head and crashed back into the waves. The canoe rocked violently. Thendral, caught off guard, stumbled. The creature's tail, a barbed monstrosity, whipped through the air and slammed into Thendral, flinging her into the water.
Roared. His voice filled with fury. He charged towards the spot where the creature had submerged, raising his warhammer, ready to strike. But the water remained still. The Decayed Maw had vanished back into the depths, taking their friends with it.
Dizzy rushed to the edge of the canoe, scanning the water frantically. His eyes searched for any sign of Gimbal or Thendral, but his heart sank. He could see nothing but dark, churning water. Z, his face pale, gripped the edge of the boat, muttering a silent prayer to his god. They were outmatched, outmaneuvered. Fear threatened to consume them, but they refused to give up hope. They would find their friends. They would make the Decayed Maw pay. Then a flicker of movement caught Dizzy's eye. A faint blue light emanated from beneath the waves. It was Thendral. She had managed to activate her magical amulet. It glowed brightly, illuminating her silhouette in the murky water. She was alive, but clearly injured. Her eyes were closed, her face contorted in pain. The venom from the Decayed Maw's tail had blinded her. She thrashed weakly, struggling to stay afloat. Desperation clawed at her throat. She couldn't see, couldn't breathe.
Without hesitation, dove into the water. He swam towards Thendral, his small frame cutting through the waves. He reached her side, grabbing her arm and pulling her towards the surface. He kicked his legs, propelling them both upwards.
Brom reached down, hauling them back into the canoe. Thendral lay gasping on the deck, her chest heaving. She was alive, but they were far from safe. They were still trapped in the open ocean. The Decayed Maw was still out there, lurking somewhere in the depths.